Hello guys and welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to talk about Restoration Druids in World of Warcraft patch 8.2. So this is going to be a PvE guide about Resto Druids. In this guide we're going to talk about, as you can see on the screen right now, stats, essence, Azerite, talents and the rotation. So after you watch this video you should be pretty comfortable playing Restoration Druids. So let's dive directly into it and let's talk about the stats. So for the stats we actually have some recommended stats, what I also self-recommend. Normally I also talk about simming your stats, but you cannot actually sim your stats as a healer. Simming stats is only for DPS specs. So in this case we will just be talking about the recommended stats as a Restoration Druid. So the recommended stats as the first one is Mastery. Mastery is helping all your spells heal more by as many healing over time effects you have. So the more healing over time effects you have on a target, the more you heal them in. Well, luckily enough, our healing is basically only healing over time. So every time you cast the healing on the target, you're actually going to heal more and hit the target. I mean, who can complain about that? The second one is Haste. Haste is actually helping our casting time, and also it helps our healing to have more HUDs on the duration. So for example, let's say you have a healing over time that normally will heal over 10 seconds, and then let's say every second it heals one time, so over 10 seconds 10 times it heals, then you will get 20% more haste, and now it will heal 12 times over those 10 seconds. Pretty amazing, right? So haste is number 2. Critical Strike and Versatility is kinda sharing a third place. They are both really great. I mean, Versatility is helping your flat healing, and Critical Strike does so your healing have a bigger chance for actually crit. So you can say Mastery is number 1, Haste number 2, Crit and Versatility will have a shared third place in my heart. So that is the stats I do recommend as a Restoration Druid. When talking about Essence as a Restoration Druid, there are 2 Essence that can actually be really helpful. The first one we have is the Ever Rising Tide. It's a really excellent spell that makes your healing heal for a lot more. The only problem with this spell is that it's basically stopping your mana regeneration. So when you use this, you'll heal a lot, but it also stops your mana regeneration. The cool thing about playing as a druid, of course, is that you can use Innovate on yourself, and then you can use this essence, and basically you can heal a lot without losing mana. That's a little cheat we have as a Restoration Druid, but else it's a really great one. Makes you heal more, also give you 10% haste when it goes to rank 3. So in total, really fine as essence. The last one I'm recommending is, if you're having a bit of mana problems, Memory of Lucid Dreams is actually super great. It gives you 100% more mana regeneration over 15 seconds. So if you have any mana problems, just use this essence and boom, you will not have any mana problems. Damn, I'm misspelling things all the time now. So yeah, so you have these 2 that either you can take one that increase your healing and it has a really low cooldown, or you can have a essence with 2-minute cooldown, but it also gives you a lot of mana back. So I will not really recommend any of these. I will just say it's up to you and feel like which one do you feel like is the best for you. About the Azerite traits, let's talk about the outer ring first. So as the outer ring first, I recommend Early Harvest. So Early Harvest is actually a pretty great Azerite traits. When Wild Growth expired, it heals the target for 1200 if they are endured, or reduce the cooldown of Innovate by 1 second if they're not. Really great help of healing. I mean, in Mythic Dungeons it has a great healing for AoE. It also has a great, you can say, in mana back if, for example, it's giving you're reducing cooldown if you Innovate. The second one I'm recommending is Groove Tending. Swiftman heals the target for 7000 over 9 seconds. So beside it heals a lot on once a time, and when you use it, it heals for a lot, but now it will actually also heal over time. And this is helping your mastery for actually healing, having more healing over time. That means the mastery will be more effective. It's pretty smart. That is helping your mastery. The next one is this one here called Repan Growth. Regrowth heals for 1700 more over its duration, and it healing over time effect also applies to the target of your life bloom. This is cool. I mean, this one is really cool. Really like this one here. And the last one, I mean, this is like just the last one I can recommend if I really have to recommend anything. Euceros gift now heals every 4 seconds, and it heals for an additional 400 for each of your active rejuvenation. So this is actually making your Euceros gift a bit more powerful. I don't really have anything. Normally, for example, when I created my guide about Shadow Priest design, Balance Druid, where I talked about you have to get 3 of these and 2 of these and that 1 of these. I mean, I don't have any recommendation here. I mean, if you have 1 of each of these, I'm happy. If you go to leaderboards and look up on people what they actually use, none of them is really stacking these. They just have like a bunch of these random one. Sometimes I actually see people having 2 of Rampant Growth or 2 of Growth Tending, but no. But just every of these 4 is actually pretty good. And if you have any of these, you should be pretty good. So nothing there. So that is the outer ring. Let's talk about the middle ring. The first one I'm recommending is of course Blood Siphon. As we talked about before, Mastery is a really great trade stat for you. So increasing your Mastery by 83 is pretty legit. So that should help you out pretty good. The next middle ring is increasing your versatility and also increasing your movement speed. I know that you already have a talent, your cat form talent, that makes you run faster, so you don't really need that additional movement speed. But again, if you are lacking of versatility, On My Way is a great one for giving you more versatility, equal more flat healing. The next middle ring I'm recommending is Bracing Chill. Bracing Chill is actually a great talent. Azerite trait. Your heals have a chance to apply Bracing Chill. Healing the target with Bracing Chill will heal for an additional 2900 and move Bracing Chill to a nearby ally up to 6 times. So it's pretty much like a priest prayer of mending that it just bounces around and heals. And when having a Restoration Druid that has a lot of healing going on right now, Bracing Chill can be pretty overpowered. So I would at least say have 1 of Bracing Chills. It's quite good. The last one I'm recommending is Synergistic Growth. Casting your multi-target healing spell grants you 268 Mastery for 10 seconds, and as again we said, Mastery is good. But it can only happen every 30 seconds. So when you're casting a spell that heals multiple targets, this one will pop up every 30 seconds. So that is the Azerite traits I do recommend. So it is time to talk about the talents. So let's talk about the talents and see which one I actually do recommend. So going to the talent page, the first row, we have Abundance and Cenarian Ward. Cenarian Ward is the one I recommend in mostly any scenarios. I mean, Cenarian Ward is so good. Abundance can actually also be okay. It's together with Soul of the Forest is actually quite okay paired, but Abundance can be great in, for example, a raid where you have Rejuvenation active on more people or something like that. So in some cases Abundance can be great, and I have no hate to it, but personally I'm much more person to Cenarian Ward. You're welcome to write down in the comments and tell me why you better like Abundance. I can see that it's actually like a 50-50 which one people actually is using. So, but I'm more a Cenarian Ward guy, as I feel like it heals more when I need it. So definitely for Mythic I think this one is great, and raiding also, but I can see in over passively this one is also great for raiding. But again, personally, Cenarian Ward is mine. The next row I would always recommend Wild Charge. It has some small abilities that can help you really cool and more efficient. When you're stuck or you cannot really move out of where you are, it's a nice way so you can fly to someone or stun a target. I mean, not stun a target, but you can charge to someone and immobilize them. The next row I am actually recommending, well, Feral Affinity is really great. It increases your movement speed by a lot and it gives you a lot of damage. You can actually be a pretty cool damage when you're using this one, because you're getting Rake, Refresh, Bite, Swipe, and regeneration, increased energy regeneration. And it's actually, I mean, if you're on a raid boss and he's going into berserker mode, enrage mode, and you're pretty close to killing him, and all the healers are actually okay cool, then it's pretty cool that you can go into this feral form and deal quite a lot of damage. So kind of you can help on the damage if needed, but also the movement speed you're getting is pretty cool. Guardian's Affinity can also be good if you're lacking self-healing, for example, or damage reduction. If you feel like you're dying all the time, because who knows why you're dying all the time, then I mean the 6% reduce all damage taken can actually be pretty cool. But if you don't really feel like you need this one, I can 100% also just recommend Feral Affinity. It's a really cool trait. The next one I highly recommend Typhoon. It's an AoE interruption. So if you're in a mythic dungeon and 5 of the enemies is actually beginning to cast some kind of a shield or any spells, you just use Typhoon and you interrupt them all. Pretty cool talent, highly recommended it. On the next row, my favorite and the one I recommend for everyone almost is Cultivation. Cultivation is really great, and it gives again an additional healing over time spell. That means your mastery will again affect for this and actually heal more. Incarnation can also be a really great talent if you are like in a situation where you really need help, or you really need to have some additional instant healing, or I mean if you really need some burst healing because you know, okay, we need this burst healing in these 10 seconds or else we will wipe on this boss. Go for it, go for it. On the second last row, I'm actually only recommending Spring Blossoms. Again, it gives your target additional healing over time, equal your mastery will again affect from this. So additional to mastery, and this one is actually also additional to mastery. So really great combination. On the last one, I am actually I know that Germination has normally been number 1, but if you go on the top leaderboards, you can actually see everyone is using now Photosynthesis, and it's actually a quite great talent. I mean, personally, when you use it on yourself, it will heal for 20% more. I mean, let me just read for you. While your Life Bloom is on yourself, your Periga heals 20% faster. So of course it's helping you a lot, but when you use it on another one, while your Life Bloom is on an ally, your Periga heals on them have a 5% chance to cause it to bloom. That is pretty great. So I mean, all your Periga heals have a chance to bloom on your targets. That means all the healing or time effects you have on the target will have 5% chance to bloom. Crazy. So I would 100% say Photosynthesis is the must-have, and also if you look on the leaderboards, everyone is also saying it's the must-have. So I mean, we're just following the pros. So this is the talents I highly recommend as Restoration Druid. So let's talk about the rotation as a Restoration Druid. So it's kind of weird to talk about rotation as a healer actually, because normally when you play DPS, you have like an opener, you have a rotation on how you can actually kill and execute and all that, and how you play the rotation. As a Restoration Druid, I mean, it's pretty much up to you on how you want to heal. It's up to you which healing spell you want to use in which scenarios. I mean, there's not really any limits on... That's like a big bug in here. Oh, never mind. It's up to you on how you actually want to play a healer. There's not like any book for that. But I can still talk about some of the spells and some of the recommendations. So, for example, if you're playing with Cenarian Ward, it's always a great one you can cast, because when you cast it on the target, it will then be on the target for 30 seconds, and when the target actually begins to take damage, it will then begin to heal the target over 8 seconds. So it's always a great thing to pre-cast Cenarian Ward, for example, on your tank before he goes into combat. Can actually be quite useful. Keep in mind that you also have your Rejuvenation, you have your Life Bloom, and Regrowth, and Wild Growth as your normal healing spells over time. Every time these 4 spells is on you, you are healing more on that target because of your mastery. Your healing is increased by 13.6 for each of your restoration heal over time effects on the target. So for every healing over time I have on the target, I'm actually healing more. It's 13, 13, 13, 13, 13, and it keeps going. And because I have taken this one here, I will have one more I can put on myself. So when I stand in my influence here, now I have one more, now I have one more, one more, one more, and one more. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 healing spells, so now it's 5 times 13% additional healing to me. I mean, that is insane. That is really a lot of bonus healing I'm getting from my mastery on, of course, that target who has all the additional healings. So try to see if you can put up some, I mean, you're healing a person, try to see if you can put up some healing over times on him. So, you know, because every time you have some more on him, you'll be healing more. So now I have 5 on myself. So that means my regrowth, when I use it on myself, would actually heal a lot more. Also, because we are playing, you can see here, because we're playing with Swiftmend will of course also heal a lot of healing on the target. For example, it can heal up to, in my case, 25k. If I use it without any healing or time abilities on myself, it will heal, I mean, can I see it right now? I will heal, well, it says 25k. That's also fine, but I can do it better. I can use my Florence, my Real Growth, Regrowth, Life Bloom, Revelation, and now when I use it, poof, 42k. Normally it was meaning it should heal 25k, but 42. So before you cast Swiftmend, of course, if the target is close to die and you just, oh my god, I just have to save him, then use Swiftmend. But if you don't need Swiftmend ASAP, build up some healing over time on him, use it, and your Swiftmend will heal so much more. I mean, it's so good, really good. Beside that, we have your cooldown for yourself called Baskin. Basically, it's a survival spell you can use even though you're stunned, and reduce all damage you take by 20%, preventing the damage from delaying on your spell casts. So basically, it's a spell that just helps you, nothing more. It helps you and you, reducing more damage. You also have your Iron Bark that is pretty much doing the same, almost. It also reduces the damage on the target, but in this case you can use it on yourself or on your party members. So if you know your tank is going to take a lot of damage now, then you can use your Iron Bark on him and he will take reduced 20% damage over 12 seconds. You also have Tranquility, and Tranquility is like the overpowered healing spell that we have. When using Tranquility, it will heal a lot. It will heal 20k over 7.1 second, and also it will heal the target for another 500 over 8 second stacking. But if you are in not a raid group, it will heal 100% more. That means 40k. So if I use it now, it will heal those 40k, and it will give me a healing over time spell that will stack and heal more and more and more and more. And this is also affecting your mastery because it's additionally healing over time. Again, crazy. Then if you're playing with Typhoon, you have your interruption spell that will interrupt everyone in your raid, and a very important spell, Innovate. If you're using it on yourself, the next 12 seconds I'm not losing any mana at all, and I can just keep spamming spells without losing mana. Really great talent, and, well, not talent, spell, and can pretty much help you in any mana situation. Or else if you're in a raid and you can see your other healer is struggling with mana, help him out. He'll probably be happy for it. Well, else, I mean, we don't really have that much. If you're playing with Feral Affinity, remember you can deal a lot of damage in Feral form. If your team needs some damage on the boss, or if you don't really have to heal anyone, deal some damage, help the team. And then we have Bear form if you really need to go into some kind of survival, get some more armor and health. So, I mean, that is pretty much the recommendation I have for playing as a Restoration Druid. I mean, there's not really any rotations. Beside, of course, I'm recommending having a lot of healing over time spells on your target. Else, that is pretty much the rotation. So thank you everyone for watching this Restoration Druid guide. Let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know if you hate it. Let me know if you love it. And well, give me some recommendations if I'm doing something wrong, or if you want to tell me my guide is great. So let me know in the comment what you think about this guide. Else I can say Thanks for watching my Restoration Druid for patch 8.2, and well, have a nice evening and stay awesome.